Check this out. We got a new segment on the show, and we calling this Free Game, and it's sponsored by 64111 Studios on 17th and Summit. What's happening?
What's up, Kansas City? How y'all doing?
So the premise of this segment is to help our local artists that's out there listening right now try to help you get as professional as you possibly can. So, Jazz, I see you on Instagram posting pictures of songs that you've actually Shazammed from some of the artists that we play on Underground Heat. And then sometimes you got some songs that don't actually come up. That means your songs are not registered. Give us some game on what they would need to do or what processes they would need to go through in order to get registered and why it's important for them to register the music.
Okay, so come from somebody like me, sometimes if we out or if it's a show and everybody's out late, Underground Heat comes on, you might hear a song that you rocking with. So I'm like, well, shoot, I might want to get in touch with these artists for features or let other people know about the records and whatnot. So the first place I go is Shazam. That's the fastest way for me to actually find out what the artist's name is, what the name of the song is, if whether or not they're even from here, because, you know, Underground Heat has a mix of local and national records. Most of the time when we end up drawing blanks, I just post to let people know, hey, y'all need to step y'all game up. Y'all need to make sure y'all stuff is registered. There are a couple of companies that you can actually register your music with. One of them is TuneCore, and the other one is CD Baby. Those are two of the most widely known companies for digital distribution. And they'll register you with iTunes, they'll register you with Shazam, they'll register you with Google Play, you name it. And you can put your music up there for digital distribution, and it does not cost a lot of money. The registration is not hard to do, and there is no reason why local artists in Kansas City should not be on Shazam when you're being broadcast over radio.
Free Game with Jazz from 64111 Studios, 17th and Summit for all your mix, mastering, and recording needs, plus more. Go ahead over there. Another thing with registering your music, Jazz, from a radio point of view is when you get a spin or when you get a credit for a spin and you're not registered with BDS and Nielsen, not only are you wasting our time, but you're wasting your own time and you're wasting spins because every record has a window of opportunity.
Yeah, and see, BDS, let me break that down. It stands for Broadcast Data Systems, and they're owned by Nielsen. Nielsen does sound scan, and that used to be like the gold standard for each time you sold a CD, and that's how they kept track of whether things went platinum or gold or things of that nature. But BDS is like the radio version of that, keeping track of that. And their headquarters are actually here in Kansas City up the street from the airport. So when you also do your digital distribution, you would also want to register your records with BDS when you actually start getting radio spins, and they can keep track of that. And if you have all your publishing and everything in order with ASCAP or BMI, if you have all your ducks in a row, it's an easy way to get a few extra dollars every quarter. You know what I'm saying?
It's called royalty.
You get them performance royalties, you get spins royalties, all that stuff just come together, and a check pops up in the mail when you got everything registered correctly. So you just want to make sure you do that.
That's right, man. This is Free Game brought to you by 64111 Studios. Got my man Jazz in the building. Quickly, I get a lot of songs that often are not mixed and mastered. Tell everybody listening why you should always do both and not one or the other.
Okay, well, in layman's terms, most of the time I break down to artists that there are 3 steps to the creation of a record. Technically, you got recording, you got mixing, and you got mastering. Well, recording is obvious. You go in, you lay your vocals down, things of that nature. Mixing is when you actually examine all the components of a record, the beat, the vocals, the ad-libs, and everything like that, and you make everything blend together. You add all your special touches, special effects, and things to give it that spice. And then mastering is actually the final step of a record. A lot of people get mixing and mastering confused. Mastering is when you actually check the overall tonal balance and the loudness levels of a record in comparison to other records on the project. Or if it's a single, you might want to just compare that to like what the industry is doing and make sure that it has a chance to compete sonically. And a lot of people don't take that extra step. They'll go record, they get a quick mix on it, and then they'll go ahead and put it out. And it's like, you should get that mastering, especially if you have a body of work, so you can make sure that your songs sound cohesive.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, man, this is free game, man. We giving it to you live and raw right here on Underground Heat, brought to you by 64111 Studios. Jazz, appreciate you stopping by and giving the city free game. Now go ahead and spotlight one of the records that has actually came out of 64111 Studios.
Okay, well, we're going to run this one. Y'all probably familiar with this record. It's called Relay. It's by G Money the Boss and Louis D. One of my in-house producers, Dominique Saunders, he did the track, so this was done completely in-house. Just vibing out on a late night and came up with a really creative record. It's gaining traction now, and I hope y'all enjoy it.
Shout out to Sully 4Q too.
And Sully. Hey, Sully did the hook, and Louis and G, they did their thing on it. Dominique on the beat. It was amazing. All within the walls of 64111.
All right, y'all. Relay, Underground Heat. Let's go.